it's connecting to audio. Welcome. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear
Excellent.
you.
Fantastic. I'm sorry I'm running a few minutes behind. I was actually working with a student. We were getting her ready for an interview that she has. And so we were going over some last minute interviewing skills. So it looks like right now I have two potential candidates or students, and I want to make sure I say your names correctly. So can I start first with the student's last name? That's Shields. Pronounce your first name for me. Okay, I think for some reason I'm having trouble, but it looks like it might be pronounced Samia. I hope I didn't butcher that, but it's a beautiful name, and welcome. I can't hear you as well. Okay,
Samia.
Samia,
Samia.
perfect. I got it correct. That's
Can you
it's
hear
a
me?
beautiful. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, that's correct.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I'm not getting any good reception in my class.
No problem.
Yes, I can.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome, Samia. We're glad that you're here. And it looks like I also have Ebony Anderson. Um, Ebony, can you turn on your microphone for a minute and just say hello, just so I can make sure you're here? Awesome.
Hello.
Hi, Ebony. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure you can hear me. And so my name is Richard Mayans, and I'm with the Teacher Preparation and Certification Program. I'm the interim program director for PK through 12 programs. And Ann Colon is chiming in to say hello and ask questions during the presentation. Feel free to stop me at any time. If there's a question that's really pressing for you, write it down. I tend to forget sometimes if I don't. And so we'll be informal and formal. I want to be formal in that I answer and address all your questions, and informal in that you can really ask us anything. But we're super glad that you're here, and we always enjoy these sessions and meeting potential students. If you look at the screen to your right, you'll see this is my partner in crime. She doesn't even know I give her that title, but partner in crime, Brittany Gandel. She's a senior academic advisor, and she was having some technical difficulties, so she may be in and out. I see that she's here, but most likely she'll be calling in. She is a wonderful point of contact. She's who you will begin with as far as advising when you're planning out your program of study and any particular needs. And then again, we work very closely in making sure you are progressing nicely through the coursework and that your needs are being met, our goals are being met, and everyone's happy. So, welcome. Are there any initial comments or questions you have before we kind of get going with our presentation? Okay, well, again, feel free to jump right in. So obviously, you know that you're at Tulane School of Professional Advancement, or maybe you don't know that you are, but you are here. And again, we are very welcome. We call it SOPA, so it's the School of Professional Advancement. And we love being within the School of the Professional Advancement because that's what we're gearing. We're gearing professionals for a career in teaching. And so we're moving from in our program, especially moving from thinking about educators as babysitters, if you will. Not that there's a problem with babysitters, but we're moving them to think more like professionals. I'm a professional educator, and what that means and what that entails. So Tulane University was, of course, began as a medical college in Louisiana in 1834. And it offered its first continuing education classes in 1886. What I think is really cool about this is when I think about this past fall, I was reflecting with a friend, and I said, being an interim director was really difficult in many aspects because I only knew one side, the faculty side. But being the interim director, you get to see all of these different points of view, and you get to remember what the students' experience is like, and which helps us as professors. But the point of that was that this was the first time in 130 years that Tulane University opened with a majority of classes being online. So you can imagine the professional development that goes into preparing to teach in that respect. And that's what I love about teaching, because teaching is very flexible and can be very unpredictable. Okay, so why SOPA? We have very depth online courses. It's something we do well already. So we come to the table ready to support you in any learning need that you may have. We have excellent programs, and I'd like to say we have stellar faculty and support staff and advisors and administrators. And so we really take pride in the folks that we work with and we learn from. We offer plenty of student support, and I can speak to some of those support systems that are in place, and my colleagues Ann and Brittany can also speak to others that are in place. And so if there's a particular need that you have or a concern that you have about how am I going to make all of this work, please reach out to us. Let us know that, because that's something that we need to know and that we can probably address. And we like to think, well, our program is affordable. And we, especially within SOPA, we compare our tuition and our fees to that of like a state institution within this state. And so we try to be very competitive with them. And we're also flexible. We understand that you all have different needs and you're coming at this from different places. And so we really think about the individual. Next slide, please. Thank you, Ann, or whoever's controlling this. I appreciate it. This is what I need in every one of my classes. So online learning at SOPA, again, it's what we do well. I think that we're actually a leader across the university in that when we approach learning, we think about it as in modules, right? So we take concepts or topics, and around that we build experiences. Right? So we're going to provide you learning experiences that might be traditional in nature, that look like things like lectures or notes, all the way to learning experiences that are non-traditional. Those might include experiments, practica, going out into the community and doing a service learning project, and realizing that through that experience that we're not in the community to quote unquote save them. It's not the savior complex. We're there in the community to work for a common goal. So anyway, I just want you to know that we have diverse students, we have diverse faculty. We as faculty and staff meet often to do our best. And we expect the very best of our students. So we have high expectations for our students, but in the end, our students are well prepared and well versed. So we hope you will consider us. We hope you'll come. Online learning at SOPA. So, in, let's see, scale 1,394 students completed 12,486 hours of online coursework. What does that mean? That means that we are really a leader across campus. We do it well if you look at those numbers. Now, I'd like to, the quality, I was just going to say, I'd like to address the quality. So we have faculty, and it says here over 200 faculty trained in effective online instruction with multiple awards. And that's important right now. So we'll move on. You're here for teaching certification, I hope. Well, hello. Samia's got someone with her on camera. It looks like someone we could teach maybe today. So
yeah,
welcome.
I'm actually in class right now. We're on a recess break. This is the only time.
I'm glad you're here. No worries at all. Okay. We always welcome, we welcome everyone. So we're glad you're here, and we understand if you have to go, why, okay? Don't worry.
Thank you.
You can follow up with us anytime. So right now we have early childhood education program, which is we certify you for pre-K through third grade. And we also have secondary education. So those that want to teach middle school and high school, we prepare you for that as well. And that would be a certification in grades 6 through 12. So if this is your initial licensure, you're going to be looking at one of those two areas. And we also are adding a 1 through 5 pathway. So thank goodness, because I often wondered what happens to the 4th and 5th graders. So very soon, you're going to have an option to be certified anywhere from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. Next slide, please. Other opportunities. So once you receive your initial certification, okay, good. Ebony was just about to ask about 4th and 5th grade. Yeah, I taught 5th grade. So of course I worried about that, Ebony, when I saw that. And I taught 6th grade as well. So I'm glad we haven't forgotten them. We have a special education add-on, which is really exciting for us. So as you probably can imagine, or maybe you've experienced firsthand, we have a lot of students with needs that aren't necessarily addressed because we don't have a teaching talent that has maybe the education that they need, no fault of their own, but that this is a real serious concern for us. And because of that, we wanted to address a need in our community, which is teaching students who have learning disabilities. And we're looking more specifically at the mild to moderate disabilities. So we're not talking about this add-on licensure would not be for students who want to work for what we call BEH students, behaviorally emotionally handicapped is what they still, or disabled, BED, you sometimes hear it referred to. So that wouldn't be this licensure. That would be for a more severe, very strategic type of teaching practices. So that's an option. So we want you to think about that. So once you complete your initial certification, what's next? We're always asking people, what's next? What are your next plans? That might be next. Or TESOL, teaching English as a second language. We have a lot of needs for students that come to our classrooms and English is not their primary language. So how do we address those needs? So we have those add-on licenses. Those are not things that you can do first until you have an initial certification. So Samia and Ebony, I'm not sure if you have certification already. If you do, let me know that because I can kind of address some of your options as well. Okay, next slide. And Anne, how long do we have today? I can't remember if it's 45 minutes or an hour or.
About 30 minutes.
Okay, so I need to get moving. Okay, thank you. See, this is good. Okay, it's 12:15. We have a pipeline that we like to say, or a track. And what all this graphic is doing is showing you is that we want to put quality teachers in classrooms as often and as soon as quality allows for it, meaning we want to make sure you're ready and that you feel equipped with all the necessary skills, dispositions, and professionalism to do your job really well to impact student learning. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Are my students learning and are they feeling confident? Right? And so our program, what we continue to do is we're developing multiple pathways to put quality talent in classrooms. Okay. Okay, so we have pipelines. We have the post-bac, which I imagine is Sami and Ebony's role, but maybe not. Maybe you're working towards your undergraduate, finishing that bachelor's degree, and you're going to tack on the post-bac. We are a post-bac program, which means all of our students who are in residency, that final year of residency that Louisiana requires, have a bachelor's degree. So if you currently don't hold a bachelor's degree, it's okay to take our coursework along with your bachelor's coursework. However, before you can student teach, if you will, right before you get that final job, you have to already hold that bachelor's license. So that's what people like Brittany, myself, and any of us can help answer those questions. We have teachers, we have teacher pipelines. So we want teachers that are in classrooms that have that initial license. Okay, Ebony, I have a master's and I'm needing to complete some courses to get certification. Okay, perfect. So in many ways, Ebony is approaching it like she's coming out with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and she needs to complete licensure. Ebony, are you currently teaching in? We can go until 12:45 as well. Okay, thanks, Anne. I get a little wordy. I love these kind of presentations. Okay. Okay, so you're not currently teaching at the time. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is we will prepare you and we will put you in a residency, most likely, unless you're exempt from that. We can talk about that later, where you will get, through our program and through the final residency, you will be certified. At the end of the day, whatever your path is, whichever direction in which you're coming to us, we can make it work, meaning everyone's individualized, and that's what we do. But yeah, our pipelines are for post-bacs, for teachers, and for paraprofessionals. And paraprofessionals would be those professionals who work in a school who don't have a teaching license, like maybe Ebony, let's say she took a position, she might be considered a paraprofessional. Not that she's para anything, but that she is working towards perhaps her licensure. Okay, next slide, please. Currently teaching in Jefferson. Oh, Samia, okay, cool. So Samia's got should be complete with her master's in May, and I'm currently teaching. Okay, so welcome, Samia. We work with a lot of Jefferson Parish teachers, actually. So we're glad you're here. In fact, I'm trying to get into their November. They pay for part of tuition. Jefferson Parish does. If you're not familiar with that, make sure we speak Samia so I can put you in touch with those that do know, but they reimburse their teachers to get their certification. And so we can talk about that in more detail. Our requirements for certification. So if you are looking to do the early childhood Woodmore School 2 through 6 SPED, okay, excellent. And Samia, I'm assuming, I think you said this, you do not have, you're getting your certification. You don't currently hold a certification in a teaching area, correct?
No, I don't. I have to have my certification probably by next year, or else I will not be working.
Okay, well, we're going to make that happen. Okay, so talk to us very soon. Okay,
Okay.
excellent. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to prepare you to get that initial certification, and it looks like that maybe after that, in tandem with that, you want to maybe think about that special education certification as well, since that's a population in which you're teaching or not. But we'll work with you. We'll figure it out. So in our programs, we pride ourselves on having high quality internship experiences. And like in Samia's case, or perhaps Ebony's, Samia's already at a school. So she's already working in a school with students. And so all of her internship experiences, if you will be her job. So we're not going to have you leave your job and go to another school. We're going to have you work within the context in which you currently work. For those who are not in a school, we place you in schools. And many times you have say in that. And sometimes you don't, because through our program, if you're not currently in a classroom, we want you to have a variety of experiences. We want you to have experiences in schools that are hard to staff or at risk. I work at Ben Franklin in high school administration. Wow, welcome. Very cool. I mean, I'd be so interested to talk to you more. We're looking for further ways in which to partner with various schools, and Ben Franklin's one that we'd love to work more closely with in some capacity. So welcome. Thank you for telling me that. Secondary education, students are going to complete 27 hours of coursework and 150 hours of field service. And you see early childhood's a bit more, but well worth it. And both certification levels culminate with what Louisiana has required as a residency. Now, residency can go into two paths. Residency can be a student teaching residency where truly you are honing in on your craft. You are placed in a teacher's classroom where you work with them. About 80% of your time is spent student teaching. It's not a paid position. However, we did find some grant money this past year to provide our student teachers with some support, monetary support, because we realize that this is a huge undertaking for you to work essentially with no pay. We do think it's the best option. If you think about it, anything in life where you can not be the person in charge and learn and learn and learn as much as you can before you are the person in charge is the better scenario. However, the reality is that many students have to do practitioner residency, which is what I would have had to do, where they are the teacher of record. They're receiving regular salary, benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but their residency is in their classroom. And so we make that work as well. And the state of Louisiana allows for that as well. So any questions thus far? Okay, we'll keep going then. Next slide. Okay, good. Our guiding principles. So these are the things that you want to look at. And I would argue that sensitivity to diversity, that sensitivity, that word needs to change because it's beyond just being sensitive towards. And I think that needs to be the first bullet or the middle bullet, if you will, the heart of what we do, is addressing students who are coming from various places within various contexts with various learning experiences and styles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because if a teacher can't do that, or at least be aware of that, then they're not effective. And so that's very important to us. And I know it's important to you as well if you're here, if you've come here and you're wanting to get this certification. So we're going to look at things like the learning environment, and we're going to teach you how do you set up environments that are conducive to the most constructive learning experiences. How do you plan instruction that's meaningful for students and engages them? And we throw that word engagement out a lot, But what we mean is it truly engagement? Are the students so immersed in what they're doing that they don't even maybe realize they're learning? We want to also prepare you for experiences where you can show your leadership skills and responsibility. And then of course, diversity is at the core of what we do. It's everything that we do. And then you can see our mission. I love our vision. We want to put an innovative and caring educator in every classroom. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, parents or families are sending us the very best that they have, right? And so we want to give them the very best that we have. Okay, next slide. Faculty. So there you see some of our faculty on this page, and I gotta get a better picture of me. I look horrible in that one, but I'm mostly geared towards social studies and literacy instruction. My path was that I got a bachelor's degree in elementary education, which was in North Carolina at the time was K-6, kindergarten through 6th grade. And I realized I was teaching 5th grade, and I realized I really didn't know how to teach reading well, and that my students who struggled in reading, I wasn't meeting their needs. I could do very well if you were pretty much at grade level or above grade level, academically gifted, but my students who really needed me, I couldn't address that. So I got my master's in literacy K-12, which was wonderful because that gave me now 2 options, right? Well, I had more education. I knew how to better teach reading, but with that master's degree, I could then keep what I was doing. I could teach grades K through 12, K through 6, but I could also specialize and be a literacy specialist in a school. So if you were thinking down the road, oh, I want to do a master's degree in something, let's talk, because you never want to do a master's degree in what you already have a certification in. You can already do that. You want to specialize, so you have different options. Dr. Blady is excellent. She also is mainly focused on literacy development. So she teaches a lot of our writing education classes, our literacy classes. Professor Watts is new to us this year, and he's a math professor. So, and a lot of our students are so grateful because that tends to not be a strong suit for them. I know it wasn't for me. And so they depend on a professor that's very knowledgeable. I think we have some more faculty on the next slide. Okay, yeah. So, we have other faculty. That's just a little smattering of who we are. We are an accredited program. We are flexible, okay? And what flexibility means is that whenever we can accommodate for you to make it work, we will do that. There's certain things in which we can't accommodate, right? So the state set certain guidelines that must be met, and we make sure you meet those. At the end of the day, we're accredited, and what you may or may not know about that is that means that when you leave us and we send your name to the state of Louisiana, because that's where we're certifying you, and we say we recommend Samia Shields to be licensed in grades blah blah blah, the state trusts us because we're accredited. So what that means is the paper that we give you that says you're going to be certified or you're certified means something at the end of the day. Okay, we have praxis requirements that we work with you to make sure that you're meeting those. So initially, when you come to our program, if your SAT or ACT scores weren't high enough, if you didn't have a 22 or above or a 1030 or above, or have a master's degree. So Ebony, we didn't want to think about that for you. You probably will be exempt from the Praxis 1, which is core academic skills. Praxis 2 looks at the content that you're going to be teaching. So Ebony, I'm assuming you're going for high school grades 6 through 12 certification, but I always hate to make assumptions. Samia's going through, I think she's going to look at pre-K through 3rd. I work at Ben Franklin Administration. Yeah, so I'm seeing, let me see. So Ebony maybe, she's looking probably at secondary. So within secondary, grades 6 through 12, she's going to choose a content area. So let's say that's history, making that up, but let's say it's history. And so on her Praxis exam, Praxis 2, she will be taking the history content exam, where we want to make sure via that exam that she has the knowledge to teach that content. And if she doesn't, we're going to work with her and help her get there. I'm sure she does. And then the final Praxis exam that you take during the residency is what we call the PLT, the Principles of Learning and Teaching, which means I've got all the basic skills I need. I've got the content knowledge I need. Now, do I know how I best teach that content? So it's the pedagogy, the best practices. You don't need to worry about that today. We make sure that you are progressing nicely, and we let you know when those examinations are to be taken. Okay, next slide. Student support and success. This is usually when Brittany jumps in, but I'll talk unless she can jump in. I don't know if she's going to be able to. So we have excellent academic advisors. I mean, you are here with two people in the room, Anne and Brittany, who are phenomenal at what they do. Anne, of course, is probably one that you're speaking to as you're thinking about entering Tulane, and she's providing this experience, one of many. And then Brittany, once you're in with us, she's expertly working with you and making sure that she's hearing all the needs that you have and supporting you, and also connecting you with faculty and programs that meet your needs. So we've got you covered. Next slide. Financial support. So what I love, one thing that SOPA does offer is a 20% tuition discount for groups listed. So all of you are considered a full-time teacher or a paraprofessional, including classroom assistants, assistant teachers, administration. So you receive a 20% discount, which is exciting. And we should be giving our teachers discounts. Their work is hard, and they don't, and I think that they should make the most of any profession. We wouldn't have any other profession without teachers. So that's how I feel. And so we have other folks like active duty military personnel. We want to respond to their needs, and we want to also acknowledge that they should have a discount as well. So if we can do it, we do it. We always try to put money in your pockets. Affordability. So the tuition this past spring was $524 a credit. So if you think, most students in the beginning probably are taking 2 classes. Some are just taking 1. So you take that 524 and times it by 3 because it's per credit. And that'll give you basically what you're looking at paying for a course in SOPA. So I'd say 1,500 to 1,800-ish, somewhere in that arena. Reason we tell you that so explicitly, and it's on the webpage, and you've probably already looked at it, is that many people confuse that the undergraduate tuition at Tulane is very high. And so they sometimes get concerned that their tuition is going to be as high as that, and it's not. We have financial aid packages and sorry, I just jumped, someone knocked at my door, which is not normal, but anyway. We'll deal with that later. So we have lots of packages in which we have financial aid and professionals that can help you. And then we have various types of aid along with that. So if that is of concern to you, then make sure that you speak with us and let us know. Okay, oh, it was Amazon. I'm more relieved now. Okay, so, and Ebony's early childhood. Okay, so Ebony, you'd be looking at, oh, she is doing early childhood. Okay, so Ebony, in that case, we would work with you closely to try to partner you with a school, maybe close to Ben Franklin where you work, where you could do your hours or some of your hours in a classroom at those levels. But we'll work with you and we'll figure it out. Okay, fantastic. So our early enrollments are here, and then you know, if I mistake this, Anne can jump in. But usually, what we're wanting you to do is to go ahead and enroll or apply and the following dates are when you're eligible for a one-time $200 scholarship, register for classes early, and save money on tuition. Wow, Anne, can you speak to that, or Brittany, if you can, if you're able? I don't know if I knew this.
Yes, I can speak to it. So we introduced this early enrollment scholarship, really just to encourage folks to get registered for classes. So if you're intending to start as a student at SOPA in the spring, you want to make sure you're registered by December 1st, and then you'll automatically get a $200 scholarship. So
wow,
basically $200 in your pocket.
I love it. Fantastic. Again, another way in which we want to support our students and how we value what you're doing, your education, and value and show respect to the students in our schools. So if you can get that in, I certainly, that's great to know. Thank you. Okay, so applying is simple. So you complete the application. There's a $40 application fee, but then I look down here, application fee will be waived for attending this webinar. Excellent. Okay, and so, and Ann, anytime if you want to jump in or I missed something, please do, don't hesitate. Thank you for being here. So yes, so you can see as you look at the bullets, are there any questions that you have about applying? Because that's where many of you are right now. You're at that stage.
So if we apply, how will the $40 application fee be waived, or you kind of just have to put in a code or something?
Great question.
Oh, that's a great question. That is actually done automatically. So I make a note of who attended the webinar. So I already have your names, and it should automatically waive that $40 fee. If for some reason it doesn't, please just contact us and we can fix that right away.
Okay, thank you so much.
Great question. Okay, so awesome. So already two things going in everyone's direction. $240 here so far. Excellent. If you have any other questions though, please don't hesitate to ask us, even during or after. The deadlines, so we're looking now at spring, is January 1. So you want to make sure that you've got all your materials in queue by January 1, because our semester begins, I want to say it's January 18 or 19, whatever that Monday is, I believe. And is that still holding true? Are we still going to hold that start date for the spring? I know in the fall we adjusted. I think you said as far as I know.
Oh yes, as far as I know, we're still set for that.
Okay.
Yeah, January 18th,
Perfect.
something like that, yeah.
So if you're thinking about, well, I'm really not going to begin until the summer, so you want to have May 15th, but certainly anytime before you may apply. And then for the fall, we like to have everything in by August 1.
I have a quick question. If I graduate in May and I want to be exempt from taking the Praxis 1,